So just coming back to the definition that you gave of product leadership, and I'll just recount that for people listening. So you said you're accountable for the return on investment of the collective efforts and outcomes created through the teams you work with. Now, there are a few key words in there, and one that I want to focus on specifically is the word with, because it implies that as the product manager or the product leader, that you don't have direct control necessarily over the people that you're responsible for managing in order to achieve the outcome. Is that a fair interpretation of what you meant with that description?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I hadn't picked up on that subtlety of the use of the word with, but you're right. It's not a matter of, well, I'm going to decide what the value is and what we're going to build, and I'm going to get these people to make it. Right? That's not the role. The word it is a hugely collaborative exercise. And if you think, you've got a design background. If you think of the double diamonds, right? You've got this sort of exploring the opportunities out there, refining your understanding which opportunities you want to address first. Then you look at solutions, right? And then you come back down to one solution that has the value, right? And so as a product leader, you're spending much more time in that first diamond of exploring the opportunities and really articulating and validating that they're worth going for, right? And then I've done this visualization. I haven't quite nailed it yet. But then in terms of your involvement, you're involved in if people need to have the double diamond in front of them, you're involved in the first little piece of the second diamond, in that I think your role there is the really explaining to the team the opportunity in front of them and why it matters. And you're going to be involved in that, looking around for solutions and exploring it. But your team, especially design, are really set up for doing that solution discovery to the problem that you've identified as worth solving, and so enabling the team to come up with things that you on your own couldn't possibly have come up with is a big part of your role, is to step back as much as you can so that they can then own the impact of the solutions that they're coming up with. Now, even as I'm saying that, I'm criticizing myself, because I've just given you the textbook answer of how product people are supposed to work. In many businesses that I've been involved in, the solution is potentially, some aspect of the solution is actually pretty obvious. Like if you take, can I do a non-Xero example? No, I'm just going to do it. So if you take Xero, right, you're running a small business. I need to create an invoice. So at some point we knew we had to build an invoice, the ability to generate an invoice. It's a legal document, has certain requirements, right? And so you could argue that actually is not the team doing any solution discovery. They're actually doing design discovery, which is arguably another diamond in this thing, right? There's a whole lot of work that has to go, well, I know kind of the fundamentals of what this framework of the solution is, but there's potentially lots of ways I could manifest that in the product. So you're not finding the solution, you're finding a design. And so I think enabling your team to do that discovery of solution and design is really important, and for them to understand how you're going to measure success, or how as a group you're going to measure success. And then your role of storyteller is saying, well, if we solve this problem or this opportunity, then this is going to happen. And maybe with the invoicing example, maybe the success is that maybe there's certain speed of creation might be, and maybe that's important. You want to be able to have it so easy that someone could create an invoice on the fly, or it may be that you want to create an invoice in mobile first. Maybe there's some aspects of who's going to use this invoicing that's more important than other types of customers. So there's still refinement of the opportunity that can happen beyond just build invoices. And in fact, what's super interesting with Xero is they've evolved from an invoicing team to a group of people who are focused on helping customers get paid faster. And that framing is really beautiful, right? Because now I have a team that might be working on invoicing and might be solving that problem. But then they could also just, I could come to them and say, well, the biggest problem with getting paid faster is that it's really hard for people to pay your invoice. And so they might do a whole lot of work on, payments or different wording within the invoice templates, different ways of following up on payments not made. There's lots of things they might do there to come up with solutions to that problem rather than just building a feature.